I wanted to do a quick video on how I perceive the recent conviction and sentencing of uh, Carmelo with a K, Anthony, not the Hall of Fame basketball player, who I actually like, um, and their murder of Austin Metcalf. So let me just try to keep it brief. I'm in a unique position where I have probably anywhere between 20 to 100 guys who would make sure that if someone were to kill my child, they never see trial. Uh, Being both a prior law enforcement worker who isn't particularly fond of the infrastructure, because I'm also been convicted myself of something. I didn't do it. I would seek extrajudicial means to alleviate something like this. I have a ton of friends who are good at CQB, and let's just say some people's bloodlines would have been ended. Saint Gary Plache, God rest his soul, proved that sometimes that is the recourse. Now, I know I say this and it may go against certain teachings that I follow, but I also believe that death is the answer for death. Okay? I noticed that Austin's father has some awful tough words after the fact for this family. Well, on the first day, he was forgiving. I would not have forgiven. This is just me speaking honestly. I would have let God forgive him and I would have arranged the meeting. But here's a reminder, and then this is the most important part. If you truly believe that the people protesting in Carmelo Anthony's favor outside of the court represent most black people in America, you are delusional. Having said that, is there a significant part of the black population that would have let him go free on the jury? Yes. That's unfortunate. That's called tribalism. Somehow every race besides white people has gotten the memo that you're allowed to be tribal. You're allowed to look out for your own. This isn't a character flaw, believe it or not. And if you're worried about someone accusing you of being a bigot, a neo-Nazi, KKK, by looking out for other European Americans, well, let them call you what they will. But the simple fact is, over the past 70, 80 years, you have allowed certain people who, let's just call them special whites, convince you that you're not allowed to be okay with being white. Okay? And I say this as a racial mutt who really has no particular group that I'm like, my group is the people I served with. That's my group, right? And if you ever served in the Navy, especially with Marines like I did, everyone's equally worthless. So you all love each other, right? I got Native Americans who got my back. I got Asians who got my back. I got Middle Easterners who got my back. Black folks who got my back. White folks who got my back, and so on. Filipinos, they really got my back, and I really got theirs. That's just if you understand the Naval Hospital Corps, especially the green side, you totally get that, right? So yeah, that's my ethnic group, right? being the mutt that I am. But those people protesting for Carmelo are the dumbest, lowest, let me reemphasize and use another word, stupidest, dumb and stupid, right? Clueless, useless, backstabbing, money grubbing, horse crap, moralist people you will ever meet. They literally wanted him to get away with murder just because he shared the same skin tone. Looking at it on an ipso facto basis, there was no reason that Carmelo shouldn't have gone to jail. Now, I understand there's some nuances in the way people think, and him being 17 when it happened, blah, 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 blah. Right? If you were protesting that this kid should have got away with murder and that he somehow was the victim, you are what my mom, whenever she was a teacher, would have called MR. Let's just say, a nice way to put it is developmentally delayed. And not like Down syndrome, but like actually, because those people, it's a trisomy issue. For you, it's just your parents maybe fed you with a slingshot. Maybe you didn't get enough protein. But you are the scum of the planet. When OJ was found not guilty, those people jumping up and hooting and hollering, somehow thinking that a guy who murdered or was there at the murder of his wife, well, we don't know for sure if he actually killed her or if he was just there saying, hey, son, kill her, right? Because that's what I think happened. You were hooting and hollering over a man who had no black friends, who wanted to ingratiate himself into white society his entire life, as if that was you, right? And a lot of people watching this video wouldn't remember that, never saw the videos, but I remember coming home that night and having a talk with some family, and one of my family members said, wow, they really hate us. But I don't think that is the majority of black people in America. I know it's not the majority of black people in America. I think, like every person, they just want to make it. They want to be able to afford a house, have a 2-parent family, and sometimes a 2-parent family is like the Anthony family, where like you can take the piece of crap out of whatever and put them in the suburbs. Doesn't make them good people, and that is what it is, right? But I'm telling you right now, St. Gary never would have let it go to trial. That's sort of my thought about it.